invite me, Kenneth. Thank you for a lot of face that I recognize in this day, in this presentation. I want to try explain what we are trying making our methodology in Leeds United. For me, I need to say that this is not anything secret. This is not the best one in football because perhaps in football one of the things that we love the game is the road to approach the victory have a lot of roads. It's not only one, but this is the road that I want to make good. And then is the situation that I want to explain what is our methodology. I'm going to share my screen. All you can watch, no? All the people watch. Really,
It's good.
when I start, perfect. When I start in football, I think that you can arrive to the victory for a lot of roads. By example, in the a lot of years ago, the classical manager with all the power. Why not? Is a lot of teams have the presidential behave with all the power for a chairman, or why not the director of football situation? Obviously, for my knowledge and my capacity, the way that I choose is the director of football because, like a lot of people in this room knows, I grow near of, for me, the best director of football in the world that is Monchi, the director of football in Sevilla. For a club performance cycle, for me, we need to this slide can be ideal situation to try know what we can happen in a football. No, first of all, try to control the internal factors that more or less is easy, and try control the external factors that obviously is really more difficult. Why not talk about the organization? One thing that always feel in the football clubs is there's a lot of people making a lot of things in different areas, not only in football, even in around the club. And it's a bit disorder. And in another companies organization happen. Then for me, it's really important that in football, you need to be organized. And how can you be organized? Put the good people with the best skills in the good position with a goal for try evaluate later what's happened in any part of the club. And for me, this is really important. Have organization. Why not legitimacy? Sounds like a romantic way to approach the football, but I think it's absolutely important. Make the things with legitimacy for have a project with medium or long-term success. I believe that if you want cross the garden, you can cross quickly and you can ruin the flowers. But perhaps if you go around the garden, you don't you don't ruin the flowers and then you get the same goal. And can be later, but can be made with legitimacy. For me, it's one of the things that I understand that in football we need to make because for the future it's a good example for all the. Can you say me, Victor, what do you discuss about legitimacy? With, by example, in my position, the fair play financial, for say one name. No, this is one of the things to make with legitimacy. No, and obviously the key and absolutely situation about in a football club is the balance between sports, between business and community. Sport, because we are here to win. We need to be honest. If the people is not in football to win, don't understand why we are here. Obviously, we need to win with the weapons and tools that our characteristics like club can have in terms of business, money, be responsible about that. And why not? Try know what batch is in your heart, what history is in your shoulders, what name and club you representatives to make this with community respect to the fans and to all around your club. That in my case is Leeds United. For me, is the key. For me, is the key because it's really important. Then the quote that appear in the down of the slide sounds like the typical commercial quote that you can find in a MOOC. But for me, try describe the ambition. The ambition with moderate growing. The ambition that a project need to have. Like the classical shoot from the moon, if you miss it, you will land among the stars. And this ambition is try always have a goal that your club can improve, that your club can grow, that your club can be really consistent in his performance cycle. And for me, it is important to have this ambition too in football. Okay, for me, what's last qualities to work in football? Football background, obviously, if you are ex-professional football player, you have advantage that, by example, I don't have, and absolutely respect because they can evaluate the football in a perspective that I never can reach. But for me, the football background, obviously, if you play professional, is absolutely a advantage, but can be, in my case, I was fan, I was journalist, I was agent, I was a scout, I was head of recruitment. I have different approach to the football background now in this moment, 17 years in professional football and trying improve each day. And obviously, this football background can give a lot of advantage. Obviously, at academic education, now, by example, today, that is education, this weekend with absolutely an incredible, really good presentation for a lot of people. But not only this, you can language, because in the position of director of football, you need to have knowledge a bit of laws, you need to have knowledge a bit of economical, you need to have knowledge about numbers, you need to have technical knowledge for the choice of the player, you need to have knowledge for the human resource to try and manage people, scouts, staff, board. So it's a really, really complete situation with a lot of ramifications in terms of have knowledge. Obviously, passion for the game. All the people that is a Sunday two hearing me have passion for the game because it's not, I cannot understand you because this game is absolutely amazing. I still am falling in love with the game. Is you can work 24 hours. You put a lot of things of your personal life in risk. You two lives for live the football in the proper perspective. But when I started in football, one friend of mine told me that when I was in the professional side, in a moment I am going to take distance with the game, but it still not happened to me. And for me, this is really, really important, that have passion for the game. And obviously, be a team player. If we talk with our team that we need to be a team player, we need to be a team player around us. Nobody can win a battle alone. And more in this specific area, that is my area, like director of football, you need to be around the best people. And I need to say that one of my best team by far that I have is my people, my team, my scouting department that help me, support me, that they are my eyes where I cannot arrive. And they all give me all the secrets to reach absolutely the success. Without them, I am absolutely nothing. And I want to vindicate that in football, you need help in all the sense. And obviously, in my case, the staff, with the head coach, the board that trust in our we are making. But obviously, I need to reivindicate my near team, always behind the scenes, never in the papers, making a lot of kilometers, making a lot of hours in front of the computer, making a lot of analysis, and they are my real and secret weapon that I feel proud that I can have the best team in the world, respect our recruitment. Okay, the famous player recruitment. For me, this is a decisive slide in terms how can start a good recruiting a player. When you are director of football, all the people think that recruitment is the only thing that we made. And to be honest, can be the 60, 65%. We have a lot of another 40 stuff. Then obviously it's the most important, but it's not the only one. But for determinate can have a good recruitment of player, remembering the famous quote of Rafa Benitez in a winter market in Valencia a lot of years ago when I shared, I asked for a table, they bring me a chair. It's really important that before the player arrives to play in your club, all the elements in the club have at least the chances to say no. At least one chances to say no. Why is this my goal? Because when the player crosses the door of the club, all the people need to be aligning in this decision. One of the things that is a mistake in a lot of football clubs, that this signing is for the chairman because have a agent that is friend. This signing is for the director of football because need to match the power with the chairman. This signing is from the head coach because know the player in the past. And then it's like a fight of powerfuls to try show about the recruitment of the players. And for me, it's better have one only direction. Can be the chairman, can be the coach, can be the director of football, or the most important, can be the synergy of all. That for me is really important. Then it's two ways to work in this line. One, the way of the information, that obviously the scouting department collected the data about the potential targets, identify for the club, based in the criteria for the club, disseminate the information, integrate the information in the style of the club, be the real information for the key making decisions, provide the facts for the player recruitment. Obviously, then it's a synergy with the head coach and the sport director of football strategy leader. But this synergy is not one meeting 2 months before of the market. It's a day by day by day by day relation. When me have the obligation, like director of football, try know perfect the coach, for try enrich the work of the coach make, for try give the best weapons to the coach. We are on serve to the coach. We need to be the position to be focused to give the best to the coach that we choose, because like you know, I believe that the coach need to be choose in synergy with the board, with the director of football, for create this synergy. And for me, this is really, really important. Then, obviously, the football strategy leader need to implement the transfer policy in the market, analyze with the coach the squad strengths, the weaknesses, facilitate the transfers, identifying and specific transfer stages, for then start the other way that is involve the club. In my case, by example, my is the best in England. Why? Because he's a chief executive that know a lot of the football, and then I am going to talk later. And then it's really important that you have this synergy even with the club, for be aligned in the budget situation, for have and know how the numbers of the clubs are, for try to spend more or less, for try find a profile of player, perhaps for a future sell, for create revenues to the club, and for continue the line in the club in the various situation. And obviously, why not helping in the negotiations to be more clear. With all aligning, when the player cross the door for first time in the club, all the people in this ideal situation have the chance to say no. Obviously, you know what's happened. Is the player perform? It's teamwork. If the player don't perform, is Victor Orta guilty? But no problem, it's part of the process, because we need to assume that in our position, this is part of the process. For me, this is really important to assume, like director of football, because we don't need to be scared that this is a part of the process. If the player works, it's teamwork. If the player fails, it's my fault. But it's nothing bad. It's the rule that is in football context. Then for me, like, the skills of a sporting director need to have is obviously extensive knowledge of football and football mechanics at high level, academic and educational qualifications, mental strength, really mental strength, resilience and durability. Now it's a new concept that I recommended the book that Nassim Taleb put, that is anti-fragile, that is more than resilience. And why not the ability to handle themselves in public, and injected confidence and lead. Why? Because the director of football is a bridge. It's a bridge between the board and the staff. In the past, the football situation, the grass was really far about the boards, and even was a small wars. Now, in the position of director of football, you are a bridge to link these wars, and then you need to be transparent. You need to be confident. You need to give lead. Why? Because you need to keep these two different parts of the club really linked. And it's not easy, because more times you only receive complaints from all the sides. And then you need to manage this complaint for create an atmosphere around the club like a proper link. And for me, this is important. And obviously to have the inject confidence and lead in the both sides, board, staff, players. And why not? The bravery to make decisions. Because it's a position that you need to take risks. It's a position that you need to have a point of view. It's a position that say yes or no to a lot of things. And obviously assume these decisions like success or fail like a part of the process. I want to talk about the figure about the chief executive that, to be honest, in England, more time the chief executive is too integrated like director of football. I understand these charts in another clubs, but for me, it's really difficult that a chief executive can decide how much is the sponsor of the shirt in the afternoon and try watch a video in a player in the 5, because it's not, for me, it's really difficult. Then, like we have in lead in a parallel position with, again, I repeat, for me, the best chief executive in England, that is Angus Kinnear, because I need his point of view to the overall club vision and strategy. I need his point of view for being intelligent enough to understand the specificities of football. I need his help to final decisions balancing football and business. I need to aim for build a platform for sustainable the on-fire success. I need him for maintaining strength of direction through discipline and purpose in a really difficult and volatile environment. I need him to define and represent the value of the clubs. And for me, it's really, really important his position and work in parallel. And obviously, together, back to the member of the board or the chairman of the owner, that obviously is the last word in the club. What is the task as a sporting director? Develop the football policy, identify and recommend a head coach to work with the team, provide technical expertise in player recruitment. Why not oversee the youth academy, that in my case is really important. It's difficult to choose a head coach for the under 14. This is the reason that I have underput like head of the academy. But obviously, I need to have an oversee of the academy. Why? In this moment, even he's playing the under 23s for in plan a succession planning of the sporting side. That for me is really, really important. And then I need to give, in my way of leader, a lot of independence to Dad and Underwood, but always with reports to me and always be aligned in the same decision like a structure. And then again, I feel really happy like academy manager that I have, because we work in the line and he's a person that solves problems daily and only appear in my table for the last circumstance and situation. And it's really good because we are going aligned to take decisions for the best for the club. That always difficult. And I suppose it's a lot of hard workers here, the academies, that are really, really hard work daily in the clubs. Obviously, the head coach is easy to understand. Then for me, what is the important element of a player recruitment process? Like we discussed, receive technical recommendation from head coach to formulate relevant recruitment criteria. Identify these potential candidates based on the relevant criteria. What I say, more times when we are discussing with my scouting department, arrive this quote: he is a really good player, but he's not a player for us. This is really one of the important keys when we start our discussions, because we need to know how kind of player of steel can perform in Leeds United under the coach of Marcelo Bielsa, in this case now in Premier League, the last year in Champions. And obviously, examine financial and political ramifications for the club in the club recruitment specific candidates. This is easy to understand too. I don't know if you know one case in Spain, what a loan from a player for Real Betis, now in Albacete, Sosulia, to go to Rayo Vallecano. And the fans of Rayo Vallecano avoid this signing, making a protest in front of the club for a lot of reasons that I prefer don't describe today, because you need to know what kind of player can have and fit in your club. And obviously, never allow that the scouting department to offer only one option. Normally, we have 4 or 5 numbers per position, And it's really important that you can choose the first priority for a lot of reasons, but you feel sure that the second priority can have the same success. In my career, happened a lot of times. Remember one day with my old boss Monchi and my chief executive Jose Maria Cruz going to Orta, Berlin to try and sign an attacking midfielder that his name was Kevin Fry Boateng. And then we are going to offer 8 million and Hertha Berlin won 8.5. And obviously in a normal way is closing in 8.25. But in aquel moment, Mr. Hennes in Hertha Berlin say 8.5, 8.5, 8.5. And Monchi Jose Maria Cruz 8. And nobody give a surrender. And then they go to the hotel. They call me from the hotel. We start to talk and we discuss for go to another position. And the second position was Sedu Keita, that we paid 3.5 to Lens, and 1 year later go to Barcelona for 15 million. Was wrong put Kevin Prince Boateng like first position? No, was not wrong. Was good that we trust the process. Was good that we trust our priority. And the second name make a really amazing only 1 year performance in Seville, but it was really, really good. This is the idea that my old boss teach me. Trust in the process, even in the names of the you have another priorities. This is our methodology. Now we need to update it with the new GVI. Sorry, because the slide second is not updated, because like you know, after the Brexit, the situations about the importance of the league in England depends about the bans and about the importance that you have. By the way, really, really, really unfair with Denmark. Really unfair. I don't understand why the decision of the FA with Denmark, Sweden, Norway putting the WASH ban when they was always historically incredible providers of talent to England from the 80s, from the 90s. And I absolutely said that now for being a player from this country, this practically they play a national team and with undetermined numbers. By example, for talk one example, if this summer, the summer before, Hauge, the player of Bodo Glimt from Norway, he cannot play in England for the situation of the new regulations. Now, yes, because obviously play in Milan, but it's really incredible that this circumstance arrived with these countries when they was really, really, really a provider of talent in the history of England, and I need to say that because I am really upset. Then we start in August, and we have a first period of view that I name quality of quantity. This quality of quantity view is a lot of games. And each month of the leagues that we call leagues class A, again, I need to change this slide with the new situation of the GBI. When I make this, we choose the best 11 per month of these leagues in relation of cost, performance, age, potential, value enhancement on the club visio, situation of his contract. And then we are really proactive in this formation of these leagues. August, September, October, November, December. Can appear 3 right backs, perhaps no strikers, no left back, but all the teams that we perform, we design a document that we call the best 11 per month and per leagues. And then we are watching these players. It's the January market that you know is really difficult for a lot of reasons. And then start the new part of the recruitment, that is the quality view. What is the quality view? If we have 4 players choosing Mainz and 3 players choosing Freiburg, that they are 7 players, and we have 2 players choose in Union Berlin and 1 player choose in Borussia Mönchengladbach, the game with more number of players, of the selected player of the best 11, is the game that we choose to watch. Because I prefer that my team know really well but 500 players that try know 5,000 players. Because I have a limited resource in terms of people. I cannot, like a big club that have 1 or 2 scouts per country, I cannot. We are 3 one head of recruitment, 2 senior in England, and 8 part-times. And international, I have 2 head of recruitment and 3 senior. Total, in terms of senior, we are 10 people. We are humans. Our days still have 24 hours. And obviously, my goal is my team try know really well 500 players to try know 5,000 players. Then in April, May, we have the meeting with the coach to determine the strengths, to determine the self, to determine, and then we make proposals per position in terms of that. But we evaluate all the positions. Why we evaluate all the positions? Because in football, you never know. Football one day can arrive an offer, an injury, problem. And then it's the reason that we evaluate all the positions. And we have always 5 candidates. But in different profiles, can be a 5 young prospect, can be a 5 confirmed players, can be a 5 local UK player, because we need a local in this position. This is always we are working. We make the market and we back again. What's happened when we back again? We take the list, and we are making this the last 10 years when the majority of my team, we are working together. And then the players leave the list by app. By example, Daniel James, that we are going to try and sign, really famous in this moment, now a film star after the documentary Take Us Home. But Daniel James leave the list because he's going to Man United, and he leave the list for us. Or another player that was injured or his performance decreased and leave the list from down. And we start again the next year. Then what's happened? We only add 5, 6, 7 names per month. And again, start. And again, this is year by year by year by year. Another example from Seville. When we signed Ivan Rakitic from Schalke 04, Schalke 04, if you analyze the last 6 months of Ivan Rakitic in Schalke, was not really good. Because he's an F of contract, because the moment not really good relation with was not really good for him. What happened? It's just of the list in selected players the 3 years and a half. And then after evaluate the 3 years and a half is when take the decision to sign the player, and was again a success. Sorry, we are always talking about success. No problem. I am talking about fails because I have a lot of fails in my career. I don't want you to think I am the fucking magician with the there. No, I have a lot of fails. But for put a good example in this case, Ivan Rakitic was an evaluation of 3 years and a half to determine finish in Sevilla, and the history was there. 3 champions, Europa League, go to Barcelona, now back to his home. And then again, we felt that was a really good project. But it's true that in football, you never have all this time to take decisions. This is an ideal situation, but obviously for young players, for situation of players that have F1 contract, or this kind of thing, you need to take more quick decisions. But in the ideal world, for me, this is the process to take a decision to select a player. Obviously, 2 years and a half, try following his performance. But again, always is not realistic and is not the ideal for take decision, because it's football, is not you can lose players. Now what's happened? In my previous, when I start in football, the goal will be the first in take the information. I remember put big DCs in Seville. We are the second team in the world to have Y Scout. Remember, go to, by example, when was the South America Under 20, was a previous friendly tournament in Paraguay, and we put our scouts in Paraguay when it's only 3 scouts, because then the South American Under 20 is 100 scouts. What's our goal? Be the first to take the information. Now, this is absolutely finished. Because now, in a good way, the information is cheap, democratic, quick, and easy to find. That is the new era when a player scored 1 goal in 2nd division in Denmark with 16 years old, and perhaps 10 minutes later you can watch in Twitter. This is the new era of information. Now the challenge for the club is not to be the first, because all the people have the information. is to try, convert, and transform this information in knowledge useful for your club. Need to be the best filter in the world. Need to reach all this information, stats that we talk later about the stats and my idea about the influence in my recruitment, about the day by day, about the injuries, about the contrast. Now the key is not get the information, because the information all the people have is to try convert this information in knowledge. This is the decisive step that you need to make in your organization. And then for me is the situation that need to be your recruitment competitive in this moment. This is more or less like we make with A-Leagues and what is our common priorities, obviously, in scouting professional. Because when we are recruit a player, our goal is to try minimize the risk. Is our absolutely control. How you can minimize the risk? First, in terms of technical, we discussed about that. You can have access to the 4,000 minutes that he played, last 4,000 minutes, even more. I think it's an easy way to try minimize the risk in terms of technical. Minimize the risk in terms of transition, in terms of physical. Okay, it's not the American sports that they publish all the numbers about physical. Well, no, in Premier League now with the second spectrum, you can have access of the physical of the other teams, and they have access of there. But obviously, it's difficult to have access in another leagues. Now it's a new tool that his name is Skill Corner that they start to calculate the physical attributes with the TV registration. That, like you know, obviously when the player is not on camera, they cannot calculate. They make a projection and they are advancing, but still not really certain. But again, you can know the physical knowledge and the physical numbers in this moment now and reduce the risk. Now appear the challenge of the transition. With these characteristics, team in your country, in another country, in another continent, in your club, and wow, it's a can use objective opinions that can be stats, can be model, and subjective. That for me is really important. This is a part of our process. Have subjective opinion to say he's going to perform here. Why? Because you feel it's difficult. Intuition is difficult to say. For again, talk about Monchi. I remember when I was head of recruitment and I go to my leads, really happy. And I said, wow, we are talking about left backs. And I put the names. And he said, wow, Victor, the first one is the best. And I said, wow, what a good I am. And he said, but the third one is the best for Sevilla. Sorry? No, the first is better than the third player, but the third player is better for Sevilla. And he always was right. He always was right. And for me, this is one thing that nobody can calculate even with the stats or intelligence, artificial, or these kind of things. It's one of part to take the decisions that, by example, I recommended a book of Philip TED Talk that his name is Super Forecasters that talk about people that have these sensible things to take decisions. And it's, for me, key in our role. And obviously, my friends, and we are talking later, the psychological. I'm really happy when I read interviews in people in my position that say that they make all to eliminate the risk about the psychological. Please give me the secret, because they are humans, they are persons. You can try know a lot of things about his background. You can talk with ex-mates, you can talk with ex-coaches, you can talk with that. But one person can have a behave here and a different behave in another place. Then it's a risk really high, because we talk about people, we talk about persons, we talk about a lot of things. And then for talk one thing about a fail, we signed a Luna Connect for Sevilla because Juan de Ramos, when we have two strikers, Luis Fabiano and Canute, they are more similar and they want a striker movement around, no? And I remember that all the scouts we are going to watch, and we post 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have always 5, 4, 5, 5, 4. I win Liverpool PCV Champions League, was amazing. They lose 3-1, but he played amazing. And we are always say, wow, what a player, perfect for our style. First game, make soup from Espanyol, goal. Second game, make soup in Champions League against Slavia Praga, goal. And then, I don't know what's happened. Luis Fabiano Canute start to be scared, increase his performance. He have a small injury. They have a big injury later. Another small injury. Go to the summer, loan to Hanover. In 4 years, only the first 2 goals in the first 2 games. We have only 1 year of contract more, and it was really difficult to find a team for him. And then we received a call from Levante Football Club, and they paid the 20% of the salary. 20% of the salary. We are going to pay the 80% of the salary to Aruna Kone. Last year of contract. You know how many goals he scored this year for Levante in La Liga? 14. You know, one of the goals scored against Sevilla, and they qualify for Europa League, and we are eliminated because we don't put the clause to don't play with us because we don't have enough strong to negotiate about that. I remember one moment, I called one player, Pedro Lopez, that played there, that was my player in Real Valladolid. And I said, wow, what do you make? What do you make? I said, Victor, we don't make anything special. This is the circumstance that one player that we paid the 80% of the salary, remember, was not the best day in my life, crossed with the chairman of Sevilla the day that he scored the goal against us. I see, he's near to run away on the other side. That scored 14 goals in the same league that you, making a year amazing. That, remember, luego make a long career. Everton, Wigan, still playing in Turkey. And with us don't perform. It's difficult to explain these kind of things, but it's part of the, they are humans. And he found in Levante in this moment a style of play, a confidence. I don't know what they found. And then to make that. Okay, this is our tools, anyway, Scout and Handle, little statistics since that, our database in ESF, Scout 7, and the big data. Now we work with the StatsBone, SciSkill, and Transfer Lab. I talk about the data. The data, for me, is really, really a key. Is really a part of the process. Because I detected that with the common opinion in the analysis of player, you grow in horizontal. If you have really expertise in the eye, human eye, you grow in horizontal. And then I detected that I need to grow in vertical to have another point of view. And then is why I use the data. I use the data in 2 sides. One side, a lot of times in the leagues that we don't have access for time, we make filters with our patterns created in our idea of football in terms of stats. In the 3 tools, we create these patterns, and then we put in the machine, and we ask by example, who is the most promising players in Third Republic under 20? And they provide in our patterns 4 names. Obviously, I am not going to sign a player for these 4 names, but these 4 names I put in my scouting department that make a due diligence of these names to back to me. And perhaps they say that Josek, the striker of Sparta Praga, is a new star in the football. By the way, for me, he is now injured, but for me, he is. And then this player is not good enough. This is one way. The other way, we put the names. We are trying to watch a number 8 with these characteristics like Mateusz Klich. And then for us, it's really important that he still balls in the opposite side. Then with the data and the analysis with the 4 names, we can detect it, who player still more balls in the opposite play, who player make this, who player make that, who player is more similar that we play. But I assume the process of the data like a part of the decision, not like the end decision. It's like a one big scout that work for us and have perhaps the same or less power than the real head of recruitment, but have this deficit part. I try to explain. It's like a model mix. I am really, really tired that is about even the famous film Moneyball, that was the core of the film, that is a war between the old style, recruitment, human expertise, and the data. I believe in the model mix. I believe in the model to live together, because more times even the human expertise help to determine patterns in the data. And more times the data provide a name that perhaps hidden in the line to try detect it in the human expertise. We need to put out the egos about the both sides and to put together to work. And this is my goal. And even if all happening really well, in January, I want creating Leeds United and only IT data department to try and determine this. But by example, with the expertise of the manage the data coach, that for me is really important. For me is really important. And then have like a recruitment together, but not like a war. No, this is the data set, this is the human set, this is, and I think they can live together in the take decisions, because it's like another point of view. And for me, this is really important to try working this line. No, the data is the definite, not the old style is the definite. It's not try make together. About the psychological analysis that I told before, I am trying work to reduce the risk in the psychological report. And now we are working in this report with these characteristics. Try know the work ethic and presence in a player, the concentration and focus, the competitiveness and self-confidence, the stress management and humility, and the adaptiveness and learning ability. For me, this is the key to try get a psychological report. Then we create one moment. I am going to share, if I can found, one DNA that with all we are talking about how can be a player of Leeds United. I make interviews to fans. I make interviews to coaches. I make interviews to all players. I make interviews for try determinate the when I was there in San Francisco days, they saw for the draft a DNA of 49ers player. Then with all the running, with all the interviews, all the people determine this DNA of Leeds United. Obviously, it's ideal situation, and no one player in the world perhaps can tick all the characteristics, obviously, because it's really difficult. But need to be your goal and stay in front of my decks daily to put this, reach this level to try choose players. And even it's really good, give to the player, give to the agents, give to the recruiters, because for me it's really important that we have one DNA for playing in Leeds United. A lot of characteristics obviously are common in around the clubs in the world, but it's good that not matter the size of the club, you believe in DNA of your club. And this is our idea, and this is our goal daily, to bring these players to try sign and that to try fill the major quantity of ticks of this document. Back to the other document. I am here. One moment. I am here. One moment. I found out. Back to the last document. Here. Then, for me and for finish, and we can make any questions if you want. That suppose it's better have this conversation. The key factor to leading success in football is the observation and analysis. But for me, is really, really clear. The long-term planning that I know is not easy to find more times this in football, and the people is really, really, really need and find the quick success. The team building between football and management, try work together, try don't be rivals, try eliminate the enemies in the club, because more times in football, one of the problems is the people that inside doesn't want the success. and we have a lot of enemies, like rivals, and really good performing, if you don't eliminate the enemies inside the project, it's a big problem. The youth development, that is really healthy for the clubs. Like we discussed, the authentic and legitimate community engagement, the balance between sporting, media, commercial, and community requirements, the constant formation and education of the staff. In football, you can learn daily from all the people around. We need to be humble because we can learn from around the people, you. And if the people want the continuity and stability of a technical structure for can have success and can have, the stability is the best weapon in football. And we have a lot of examples that show this. This is my idea in football. This is my idea of my club. Hope you like. And now it's Kenneth won. We can be really open to be questions and have a chat, because for me the monologue finished and I prefer share ideas with all the people.
And Victor, I'm sure I speak for everybody. We can feel that you want to share. It's an amazing experience to sit here and listen to you. I can feel the football. It's sent from Leeds directly to Køge. So thank you very much for the presentation until now. Very good work. There is a lot of questions, Victor. So I'll just pass the microphone on to the ones asking them. So Thomas from Poland, can you unmute your microphone and just ask the question to Victor, please? Okay, Thomas.
Question for you, Victor, is why? Hello.
Just
can you hear me?
I think it's about my glitch. No, I read in the chat. No.
Yeah. My question is, why is Mateusz Klich so important for Marcelo Bielsa? Because he never was a star in Poland. He came out from Poland like about 20 to 22 years old, and then go to Germany, then go to Netherlands, and from Netherlands he goes to the Leeds, to the Championship, and now he, in my opinion, in Poland, he's a star from Leeds. Why is so important for Marcelo Bielsa, and how is where he may be in 2 years, 3 years in Leeds?
This is a good case in terms of confidence and synergy between director of football and coach, because after one difficult first year, that is alone to explain what's happened, the second year in the preseason, I won't repeat the word, I beg Marcelo Bielsa to Matthews make the preseason with the team. And obviously he said yes. That is again the synergy between head coach and director of football. Because I always have in my mind that the style of football of Matthews can fit for the style of football of Marcelo. And after a really, that the credit is from Marcelo and Matthews. Matthews from the grafter, the hard work, the understand change his career and his position. And obviously the master touch of Marcelo intends to improve the player in a classical example for Marcelo have around all his career. The marriage was really successful after 2 years and a half. And I feel really proud because they saw both one of his master touch and the other with this master performance, that in the football, nothing is definitive. No, this player is not good enough. This player is not there. This player is not there. You know how many tweets I suffer, abuse me in the first year of Mateusz Klich? Like 10,000. And nothing happened. It's part. But please, the definite opinions in football and even in the life, not only in football, is not good. We need to have an open view of the things. And Marcelo have an open view when his director of football begged him to try keep Mateusz Klich in the first season. And even the circumstance that Ronaldo is going to Sampdoria in a transfer in the late minute. And then after a really good friendly against Las Palmas, I think Matthews Klitsch played near 100 games in a row lineup. From start to don't play the first year, and now, like Thomas said, for me, one of the top 5 midfielders in Premier League. This show that not only in football, perhaps in the life, the definitive opinions is not good to grow. We can have an opinion, but we need to have a proper vision to even can change this opinion if the things happen. And I feel really proud of this case because shows that always a player can perform if you have the enough patience.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Thomas. And thank you for the answer, Victor, as well, of course. Arun, your turn.
Yes, can you hear me, guys? Sure. Hi, Victor. Thanks for your presentation. First of all, my first question is about how is your scouting setup and how many full-time scouts, part-time scouts, and where do the scouts live in?
In England, we have 1 head of recruitment and 2 senior scouts, and then 8 part-time scouts. Like you know, in England, it's, for example, the Saturdays, it's 85% of the games in the same hour. Then it's difficult to stay in more times. By example, it's different in Spain that if you with a car can make a schedule, you can watch 5 games, 6 games in a weekend. Then I have a scout in Brussels. That is my head of recruitment. That is Gabi Ruiz. That obviously is a perfect position for half a scout because he can control Belgium, Holland, Germany, France. It's really, really proper. And then I have in Spain another head of recruitment, Dani Salas, and then 2 senior scouts. And I have one with mine, Alberto Cordero, that live in England, that is making international too. Rodrigo and Paco stay in Spain. Now with this pandemic situation, it's more clear. For me, the video analysis give a lot of importance reduced to the live analysis. For me, the live analysis still is key, still is important, still is decisive, but not like 10 years ago, the live analysis, because remember in a moment we could watch the games. Looks like happened a lot of years ago, but happened 10 years ago when only was 3 games on TV and the other games you cannot watch. Now you have access to all, and obviously the video analysis is really important. Still the live analysis is important, but for me, in any part in the world, you can make a scouting. You understand me? For me, this is the circumstance around the scouting now.
Well, thanks. And the second question is more about, we saw your Take Us Home documentary where you talk a lot about how many meetings you have with
embarrassing moments for me.
Yeah. With both of you. But how is your typical week as a sporting director?
Yeah.
And how is
normally in the morning I have 1 hour, 2 hours to press, take information for press, reading around the world, not England only. I can read perhaps 15 different sources that during my experience I determined like true source, that realistic source. Then after then I normally have meetings in the morning because with the scouts, with another agents, reading reports. And the afternoon, normally, if I can, I always make the technical side with the office is more in calm, and then I can watch videos, can watch video reports, can make only the technical side in the afternoon, more or less. Is there always is not really structured like that because it's difficult. Perhaps one time each 15 days I go to third parts to the training. I believe that another mates like be daily to the training, in my opinion, for a director of football, in my opinion, and I respect the other way to work. If you don't trust the way that your coach training is working there, you make a mistake before because then you don't choose the right trainer for your team. And I have big discussions and argued with colleagues about that. And I said, obviously for me, can be really nice, watch daily the training ground, start there, but I don't feel that I give add value to my club, because for me, if you make there, you can beat the leadership, between players and there. And then when you go, the players feel that it's important because, wow, Victor is here, anything happen important or there. You take distance for the analysis that is really important in the human situation, because at the end, I am human too, and there. And then, obviously, I have relation with players, agents, staff, Marcelo, daily by phone there. But my style of understand my role is not the daily training. And again, I know that colleagues make really well with the daily training. My feeling, I think I can have contact with the coach in the afternoon with a call from 2 hours, and then it's the same. And then the methodology of the coach, if I disagree, I make a mistake choosing the coach, then why I need to evaluate and monitor what is the coach making. And then it's the day-by-day explanation. And this is more or less my day-by-day. And again, I respect the colleagues that I made, because it's like two schools. I prefer the other one.
Thank you.
Anybody else with questions for Victor? Please feel free to.
Yes. Yes, it's Bruno.
Bruno, vamos.
Can I? See. First of all, it's a great pleasure have the opportunity to make 2 questions, if you don't mind, to Victor.
No mind. Look what they enlist. Don't look that I am going to work today.
Yeah, I'm in England too, so I know how it is. Victor, the first question is, you talk about the data and the statics. I have the opportunity to make the internship at Melbourne and analyze a lot of games also. We have access to Instat, where I can see different numbers. How do you define the numbers according to the position or the player that is good fit for Leeds?
For me, this can be only one presentation that we are trying to work our idea, okay? But to be quick, it's 2 kind of numbers: quantity stats, quality stats, okay? Mm-hmm. Quantity stat is the number by the you can challenge, big challenge lose. The quality is, for me, it's a process, like create patterns, that create ideas, that create, by example, how we determined the physical data in terms to be right back or to be center back. Obviously, it's different. It's absolutely different. The height, speed, acceleration that you give importance of fullback, that perhaps the center back need the 40% less, no? And then you need to create one there. Or by example, now in a position of center back, we determine one pattern that we determine, by example, center back ball playing. And you say, why? Because perhaps our challenge is about the importance in our system, the ball playing, give more importance to perhaps the aerial duels. It's bad to say after Friday we received 2 goals in a corner and free kick, but okay. I cry enough the last 2 days. But then we need to determine it, why a style of player fits for us. And then is to try and convert, again, the quantity and quality stats. Obviously, you need an expert of that in big data. And we are working really, really well. And I need to say with the stats bomb, working good with the C skill, working really good with transfer lab. But for me, stats bomb understood what is the realistic convert between quantity and quality stats. And then we are working really hard, even in determining what is our team style from the data. That for me is really a key, because you create like a model, and then with this model that we are accuracy the model year by year with more data, put the player if fit or not fit in the model. And this is our goal. Even we are trying to think that we need perhaps 1 year or 2 years more in this moment, convert like, I try to explain to you, like a number with 0 to 99 Leeds United index, like Hinestat index, Leeds United index to 0 to 99. Say, we create with a lot of players and put with a lot of data, say, how is the percentage of Leeds United index? And it's our goal, but minimum we need 2 years more, but we are working hard to try like you say, that is my challenge. Lift the quantity and give the quality a start.
Okay. So if you don't, perfect answer. If you don't mind, I will make another one. A bit tricky, but
Perfect.
I would like to make it. How like a guy like me that have the passion for the football, that follow and try to give the first steps in this industry, can, for example, work for you?
Okay, for me, at the end, you need to follow your passion. You need to have your education. And I have idea that looks a bit strange, and I have a lot of critics about people that is really expert in terms of recruitment for people to work to him. For me, the first of the loyalty. Football is not easy, the loyalty, because have a lot of circumstances around. Second is the capacity. Capacity is our grafter workers. And third is the knowledge. And you can say me, Victor, for you the knowledge is the third one. Yes, because with loyalty and with capacity, you get the knowledge. And perhaps you have the knowledge and you don't have capacity and loyalty. If by example, I give to you never watch a game in second division in Finland, but you have the capacity and the loyalty. Perhaps in 3 months, you are the most expert person in the second division in Finland. Then you have the knowledge. You understand me? For me, the first two is really key in football. And this is one of the things that I choose people to work to me. And it's really important because it's a lot of years knowing a lot of people in football. And now, like I said before, I feel really proud about the team that I have around.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruno, for the question, and thank you for the good work you've done for me until now. I don't know if that was your letter of resignation, but we'll take that in a different meeting. Victor, I think that concludes. I'm sure that other people will have questions as well, but I think that concludes it from here. For me, you are a perfect example of why football is an international language. For me, you have spoken football in the last hour and a little bit more. And
you feel it's an international language because my English is shit, no? This is you said, and nobody understands. No?
Your English is much better than my Spanish, so no problem there. No, Victor, you speak the language of football, which we all love, and you do it really well. And I think what Bruno was trying to say in the start, and he didn't say it all the way through, is that you are an inspiration, and you have shown people coming from different backgrounds that there is another way to the VIP stand than only through playing on the pitch and then making that career. So for many people, you're an inspiration, and for myself, you're an inspiration. And I want to thank you for taking the time to sharing who you are, what you do, and why we all love the game. And I want to wish you and Leeds United the best in the future. And if we can help you with anything here, you're always welcome to give a chat. Otherwise, I'll talk to Greg. But thank you, Victor, very much for taking the time, and enjoy the remainder of the Sunday. I hope you and your family can get some quality time in between the games, of course, in between the games.
Yes. I want to say thank you for the invitation. I feel your words really kind and feel a bit embarrassing with myself because I don't think I only said one thing, that I was the same child that with 10, 11, 12 years old, I am going to the hotels to ask autographs to the player. And now after 28 years, I am the director of football of one of the best clubs in the world. And for me, this is one thing that all people can believe that these things can happen. I want to highlight for any good friends that I have there, Paul, Daniel, and why not? I need to be really kind with my two Leeds United fans that I was like Carsten and George that stay here and obviously defends my family. And was a really kind approach from the Danish Football Federation. Hope cover the expectations in my presentation, and we keep in touch for the future, for future events. And Like, you know, I have a lot of respect for your work. And please, if you need me in future events, I am absolutely here for help. And all the people have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Victor. I'm sure the invitation is going to apply for the next years as well. So thank you very much again, and have a great Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. Bye.